Yay! Hi, loves. It's Sonia G. This is a Moon Babes Monday Night Live. I'm so excited that you are here. Tonight is a hat on for a crown on, kind of a vibe. We have the sparkles. Welcome. We are talking about the wild energy this week after the Lionsgate, the 888 portal, what's coming up. We have so much going on in the astral planes. And the key to this week, mark my words, you're going to want alignment and beliefs. This is it. There's like planets that are making moves this week. Mars is like on the move, energizing transits with Jupiter and transits with Saturn. So like, you got to check your shit. That's what that means. We got to be in alignment. Hi, loves. Yes, that we have all of the star beings in the background tonight. We also have crystals present over here. We got the beings. Sometimes we have the sunset. You got to mix it up. I'm glad that you're enjoying the art. So let's talk about the things, love. I'm so excited. This was a very, very powerful Lionsgate portal. And I wanted to clear this up too, because this happened on 888. And there were a lot of people that asked me questions about this. Like, wait, isn't this alignment off now because a lot of people are saying that it happens in July? I've talked about this many times because of the tilt of the earth, because of the just the astrology and everything now. So the Lionsgate portal is always about Sirius and the sun and the heliacal rising of Sirius. That process, which means when Sirius rises in front of the sun, to beam out the codes. I've talked about this in so many lives. So, because Sirius holds the codes to sacred geometry, like the codes to our reality. So, in this moment, it starts on the 25th, 26th, 27th of July. In fact, for the galactic new year, the galactic year resets, right? There's like, this is a time of reset because then it begins a new journey when Sirius is in front of the sun, because the sun brings in all this new life and all these new codes. In Egypt, the Lionsgate portal is a day that originates because it comes from Egypt, right? Like, remember the Sphinx, the lions, the people with the lion heads? That's the Lyrans. That's the people in Egypt. This is what it's about. So it's a connection to the energy of Egypt, okay? And now it's kind of become trendy and a lot of people are like, oh, it's a manifesting portal. Why is there power in it? It's used for both good and bad because, like all the things, because it's this alignment and the heightening of it, right? And the heightening of it. So as Sirius rises, it's not just in front of the sun for a day. It's a continued time. And it peaks, but this year specifically it peaks according to numerology, because the numbers in our system of reality, think about mathematics being the language of the universe, mathematics being the codes to our computers or systems, like everything, right? There's a mathematical base language to all the things in our reality, like the ones and the zeros. Like, think back to, all the matrix codes and everything. It's like the 888 held in like massive significance because that our reality is coded by numbers, and 8 is that number of infinity, right? So numbers that's like the same, up and down, like it holds that energy that keeps on replenishing itself. So this was very significant because it was 888. So the energy was very intense, and I know everybody felt it one way or another in your life. Things are shifting, right? There was a peak, there was an energetic portal. Some people used it, some people ignored it. It's kind of, and it's at this point, like, I laugh about it because it's like, I used to say this all the time. It's like you either catch the bus or you miss the bus, and then you're gonna wait around another year to catch the ride, right? You want to catch the ride. It's not always right there, because even though in quantum time it is, the way that the energy lines up on the earth, there's always a time where the energy is ripe for harvesting. You know, it's kind of like if you think of a harvest, if you think of fruit or vegetables, this is a great example. You can always go and harvest fruits and veggies. Sometimes if you do it too early, you're going to get sour, you're going to get like raw, you're going to get green stuff, right? If you do it too late, they're going to be spoiled. It's going to be too much. They're going to be like, you know, already going bad. But if you catch them at that right time and in the ripeness of that fruit or the vegetable or whatever it is, like when you catch it in that moment, it's so perfect. That's what these alignments and these portals are about. Yes, you can always do the work. We always do the work, like all the time. That's always available. But there's moments where it's so perfect. And it's like so juicy and it's so like something that you want to catch in that moment. So this was the energy of this portal. Now, of course, there's places like the work that we do, okay, inside of Moonbibs and the Light Tribe, in the Lionsgate portal, for example, that in the meditation, the astral work that we did, accessing that will always be a moment in time that is accessible if you know how to access it, right? So it will always be a moment in time because we've created an event around it. There's a way through it. So considering that time is an address in space, you can always access it backwards and forwards if you have the keys, if you know how, right? So if you're going somewhere, you're going to need an address. It's the same thing with all of these portals, and you need the coordinates. You need to know how to do it, and you need to make it work for you. So if you're curious about that stuff, go and get inside my courses and learn some of these things, okay? Because it's really actually cool. It feels like life is, you know, an ongoing sci-fi, and we love it. So what does it do for you? What's the point of it all? Why do we do work for it? Okay. When the portal aligns, there's energy that comes in. There's new codes, new ideas, new frequencies that beam on the planet. So for everyday practical life, what it means is that we just got infused with new energies. There's a new frequency. There's new available coding to the reality. It's all invisible, right? Other than you feel it, right? It's all like third eye stuff. It's all like higher senses stuff, but you can feel into it. You can use your superpowers. And one way or another, everybody that signed up for these things, as I always say, like if you signed up for this journey of ascension, you're going to get, you know, you're going to figure it out. Like you're going to, one way or another, it's going to hit you. Whether in the form of like, oh, it's very evident, this is what's going on, or in the form of a challenge, because that's how it shows up. So what is the most important thing that's happening right now? There's a lot of high frequency and there's a lot of lower vibration frequency on our planets. And this split, so the more we have higher knowledge, the more those of us that are doing this work, we remember who we were. We remember a lot, not all, because we're not quite there yet, but we remember a lot of the things, right? And so we are utilizing all of this in the positive. There's a lot of people that utilize it in the negative. So we keep growing our personal reality higher and higher and higher. We keep on shifting. It keeps on getting higher and getting better and getting higher and getting better. The more of us that create this personal reality, right, the more our personal reality bubbles all create like a higher level of reality all around. And this is the most important thing, and it comes into play this week, right? So it's important to learn how to decode these energies and these frequencies. Otherwise, they're just energies and frequencies. And maybe you get like a third eye headache, or maybe you have like downloads, or maybe you're like, oh my gosh, so many codes. But what do you do with that? We are the ones that get to translate it into practical life, right? So it adds up to these things. And I actually made you a reel today that from a very powerful intensive that I taught which right now this week is on the birthday sale because it's my birthday month. So you can get 70% off of it, but it's a great course, like 70% off of it. Let's have a moment with that. But you can purchase it anytime because it's like worth every dollar. That course is like life-changing. It's called Unlocking Reality. And I talked about what true alignment is. And I feel like very often this gets like overlooked. But alignment is the quantum sum, okay? Which means it's 4 things that add up to 10. Like it's quantum. It doesn't make any linear sense, okay? Of thoughts, feelings, actions, which are the things that a lot of people normally think through, like thought, feelings, and actions. It's already like a big accomplishment when those things are in alignment, but also beliefs. And I am seeing so many things, so many people around, okay, or when people like come and work with me, where that is the thing that's not aligned. So your thoughts, your actions, and your feelings, like you're working on that maybe, but you haven't figured out how to reprogram your subconscious. And so it feels like you're doing this manifesting work on the top, but the engine isn't firing because your beliefs are not in alignment. The beliefs are, a lot of people have dual belief systems, or they have like misaligned kind of belief systems. So belief work is very, very important, right? Because otherwise you're kind of like swimming against the current. It seems like it's like harder than it has to be, right? To click into a reality, then that's the stuff to look at. And if you're curious about that and how to do it, and of course that's very practical, step by step. There's no meditations. Like there's one bonus meditation because there's always like a meditation when it comes to like these things, but there's no astral travel, none of that. It's just very much like, hey, let's actually do this work. Go to Unlocking Reality. Okay. It's on sale this week. And it's exactly what is needed in this week of right now, because like I was saying at the beginning with the astrology, now that we've got all these codes, right? There's always a symphony in everything that's happening in the planets. Like there's always a purpose. There's always a story. So what's the story? What's being told? What's being unwound around, you know, in the cosmos? Now that we got all the codes, which means, hey, remember who you are. Remember your connection to Egypt. Remember all of this knowledge that was distorted in time. Remember the cleanup. Remember the truth, who you are, like the next level of that, because we always get the next level of that, right? So it's kind of like we embody more, we remember more, we access more, and we bring it into the physical. Now that you have that, now that you've had that download, then how are we going to like put it in practice? And so Mars, action, right? Action time is making moves right now. If you go and look at your night sky apps, right, you'll see Mars and Jupiter like on top of each other. And that is abundance and like magnifying. There's a magnifying effect on action. So whatever action we take gets magnified. Okay, so it's like whatever movement, whatever moves, whatever things we do, they get magnified. And then after that, right, and all of our actions, feelings are actions, thoughts are actions, not doing anything is an action, right? Holding back is an action, decide any kind of thing. It's actually like we're always having a choice about an action. So clean that up, really look at where you're at for this week. Like, and that alignment is happening right now. And then Mars is moving and is going to make a pass, like a hangout, like more of a square. So kind of like, hey, what's up? Like to Saturn. And Saturn is like, hey, but did you learn the things, right? I just want to make sure that now that you have this like plan in action, that you have the things. And then, you know, Mercury's already retrograde. There are so many things, but we're being checked. This is a checkpoint on, are you ready for the abundance that is streaming through, like, you know, it's like a faucet from the Lion's Gate. It's like, you ready to manifest? You ready? Like, you remember your sparkles, your mission, your abundance, like how glorious of a being you are. And like, do you remember all of that? Okay, cool. Act in alignment with it. Let's make sure your actions, your feels, like all of that is in alignment. And that's what's happening this week. So it is important, right? It's always important. But really, it's like, pay attention to it this week because it's going to make a whole lot of a difference. It feels like the energy is tense. It kind of feels like there's just a lot going on. Like, you know, there's things to like move through. There's ideas. There's just like a lot that's available, both in the positive and in the negative. There's just a lot. It's like our reality is full of possibilities. And so it's like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to use it for good? Right? So yeah, the answer is yes. We always want to use it for good. We want to use it for our highest. We want to use it in a way that serves us. It serves our people around us, the community, the world as a whole, especially like right now. The more of us can hold our personal realities and higher frequencies, the more we're going to impact the world. This world, in lower vibrational bandwidths of reality, otherwise known as the 3D world, needs a lot of help. Like, I saw someone today, I don't know how, you know, sometimes like Instagram like suggests things, and right now we're like an algorithm like switching, and there's all sorts of things that are going on. Whatever, there's always something going on. That's why it's like we always get to be who we are, no matter, you know, and practice our skills and our knowledge, no matter what reality is like recoding around us, right? But as long as we know who we are, we're not chasing anything outside. We're knowing who we are, and we're recoding reality from inside out. That's stuff that we want to do. But anyways, so the algorithm, the new algorithm, like that was a big important thing. I said anyways, sometimes I say these things and they're like really big, profound things, and I kind of like skip over them because they're so obvious to me, but like pay attention to these things, okay? So somebody on Instagram today, like on a suggested account, was like, so the apocalypse has begun or something like that. And I was like, oh my God. And then there was some other astrologer that was saying something like, oh, astrology predicted all of this situation in Japan, all the situation in this, and the economy this, and the economy that. I was like, go like this. Making room, making space. Like, listen, until the day that the people that are predicting things are energizing negative outcomes just to be right, that ain't gonna work. That ain't the vibe, right? How about we look at the stars and we look at the planets, we look at what's happening in our wild world, and instead of utilizing crazy words for shock value, for adrenaline moments, for marketing purpose, for whatever the hell, right? Why don't we predict for reality to get better? Why don't we predict for things to get more amazing, for people to get even more along, for more solutions, more possibilities, like more resources to be shared in our world? Like, let's predict some good outcomes, because then that's what we're energizing and that's what we're moving towards, right? And that's what we really want to be doing. I don't know what's going on with my eyelash, you guys, but there's things going on. So it's like amazing the possibilities that we have right now when we learn how to use this money. Yeah, it's to use this money. I saw somebody that said, I made money this weekend. When we learn how to use this energy, good job on the money making on the 888. That's awesome. So there's a lot, right, that's going on, but a lot of people are so addicted to the drama. They're addicted to the struggle. They're addicted to the stories that we keep telling. And so one of the things I thought would be very useful to tell you today is pay attention to the stories that you tell. What things are you speaking out loud? This is a very everyday way that we contribute to the reality around us. What stories are you telling? how are you telling them? Are you telling them from a perspective of you're empowered, you're a sovereign being, you're a creator of your experience? Or are you telling them from, oh my God, the world is, going this direction. Like, oh my God, all these things are happening, right? Like, oh my gosh, there's so many things. It's like, are we just repeating stories going around just to have conversations? Or are we adding value with our words so that we can shift and make a positive impact on our planet? Like, think about that. I remember years ago, my mentor Gary, I speak of him often. I went through lots of like mindset work and all sorts of like belief work. I learned a lot from him. It was like one of the biggest investments of my life, like with him and all of his programs that I did. And it started back in 2007. At one point, one of the things he said when it was like mastery phase, right? Like mastering the energy of your mindset, like harmonizing your feelings, all of these kinds of things that are very much like self-development, right? Like in the bubble of this self-development kind of world, like bettering the self. He said, okay, in mastery, you don't speak unless you're adding value to the room. You don't speak, like, if you want to take it to the next level, don't raise your hand to make a comment to look good. Don't raise your hand just to say something to reiterate something else. Unless, like, raise your hand when whatever it is that you're going to say is going to add value to the room, is going to add value to the conversation. I remember that, and this was like in workshops and, in group classes. And that was such a precious moment because like, it taught me so much. There's so many conversations in this world that are so empty. They're devoid of meaning, right? People talk about things just to talk, just to chat, just to have a conversation. But like, what if we actually all chose to utilize our words in a way that adds value to this world, that brings positive change, that brings alignment, that brings wealth, prosperity, peace, love, joy, harmony, right? Positive, like energy vibes all the way around. What if we did that? What if we got to the point that the way that we spoke and the frequency that we hold in our words, like literally heals people? Like, I mean, right? Like changes things. Like the power of our words is like, we've only begun to understand it. That's why you often hear me say things like cancel. Like whenever I say something that I'm like, wait, that didn't sound right. Like cancel that, right? That's something that is part of like the Hawaiian culture that they inherited from the original tribes, because they know the power of their words is so profound that whenever they put something into motion, they put a string of words into motion. If they are not 100% behind that meaning, they're going to go cancel it out, right? And so it's the same thing with thinking thoughts and like saying things and feeling feels. We're always creating reality. So how do we shift it? It's like if we start paying attention to the way that we speak, we're also going to notice, oh, I feel this way and I'm just like puking my feelings out, right? Learn to process them in a way that doesn't like just throw up on other people or on the planet, right? We're all responsible to utilize our chakra pillar and everything in our skill set in order to add value to this world. That's kind of the mindset shift that needs to happen right now, right? To really add, to bring your ascension game. I feel like it's so important. So this is really what I feel like it's so important to tell you this. And outside of all of, the very fabulous, like good feeling things that I could tell you, because there's so many things to say and there's so many like amazing. I was actually listening to the Unlocking Reality course over the weekend by myself because, spoiler alert, I am creating like a short little highlight reel that's going to be a bonus, not a reel, but a highlight video that's going to be a bonus for the new secret offer that I still have not announced the name of, but I'm on the verge. But I really want to do it on the 13th because 8/13 is like such vibey energy. So watch for that tomorrow. So, you know, me, codes, dates, and everything else. So 8/13/8 seems like a very good launch date. It feels like a vibe to me. The frequency that I actually really want to launch in. So that's coming tomorrow, which means you still have access to the secret offer pricing today, side note. But I was listening to my own course, right, to create these little highlights for a rampage. And in that course, man, there are so you can just like listen to it and it like raises you up. It's like, whoo! And that's going to be our starting point in the new secret offer, in the new course, massive shifting course that I'm about to launch. And it's like, there are so many things that we can do to really raise our frequency. There are so many places where we can clean up our vibration, our everything. The way that energy moves through us, the way that we intake it, like the way that we consume it, the way that we express it, the way that we share it, right? When all of that is like so clean and so in alignment and so energized and it feels so good. It's like amazing. And then you start to listen to these rampages, like the ones that I have inside of Locking Reality. And it's so good. And then you really understand like the power of your voice and the way that our voice, our words literally change the energy around us. Like you can start to truly, that's why, you know, the Abraham Hicks rampage is like when we start to get on a roll of positive things and your subconscious is actually ready for that. And you're just like, yes, that's the energy that I want to jump into. That's the energy that I want to like land into. It's like so good. And so like, and it resonates and it vibrates so good. And it's like, delicious, amazing. But when you don't have the baseline, okay, when you don't have the baseline, when you don't have the beliefs, when you don't have your basement sorted out, if you build the house, if you listen to all of the things that make you feel good, they'll make you feel good in the moment, but then you're not building anything, right? We want to build lasting energy structures for ourselves. So this is the importance of what I'm telling you right now, because I have lots of, you know, like raise your vibe rampages, but you want to make sure that you're not just doing it in the moment. Like if it's a hit of like some drug that's going to make you feel better, you want to do it in a way that is lasting. You want to do the work. This is such a moment in time to do the work. Do the work, do the work, do the work. What is the work? The work is whatever is required to get you from where you're at to where you want to go. This is where you are. This is where you want to be. This distance is called the work, okay? And this is the cleanup of the belief systems, the energy systems, the mindsets, the feelings, all the wounds, like all of that stuff. This is the work, right? And an amazing way of doing it is all the ways that I share with you guys in all of the courses that I share, because that's where I like to quantum shortcut it for you as much as possible so that you can have, you know, navigate knowing the skills and knowing how to do it and knowing how to move through it. So I hope you check out, there's a birthday sale that's going on all month, which means that every week there's a new course that's on a special deal for you. This is all happening on moonbabetribe.com. And you've gotten an email about it if you're on my email list. And then I share here on stories. So I'm sharing in all the places for you to know. And yeah, what else do I want to tell you? Get in alignment, stay in alignment, check your belief systems. It's so important to check belief systems. So many times our belief system files, right? Like they kind of get scrambled or they get like, I don't know, dusty, maybe. Like check your belief system, check to see what do you actually believe is true, because our reality is predicated on our belief systems, right? And this is a moment where we have such an opportunity to rise, such an opportunity to leap. This is like that lion's gate energy. Like the lion roars. The lion is like heart-centered, taking action. There's so much symbolism with that, right? And then remembering the ancient knowledge, like the Lyrans, the stuff that makes up the codes to our reality, like the deeper purposes, the missions that we came here to truly unfold and to remember our divine human inheritance. This is like a big moment in time where it's all unfolding. So remember your star fam. I don't talk about them often anymore because it's like, it's so normal, right? You like, it's so part of like our reality. Like we live with, you know, everybody in the galactic fam. And it's like, it's not even a thing that needs to be like talked about. Like it's weird anymore. It's like, yeah, like, you know, there's constantly like parts of us in soul family and star family that's like on and off planet. Like we are able to access things. They're able to access things. Like it's such a flow. And so once we've synced this up and we understand that we are not waiting on anything, Galactic Federation, we're not waiting on any rescue effort, you know, like all of that. There's no waiting, there's doing. There's like us connecting with the parts of us and with our star family and bringing and energizing these channels of light on planet Earth. Like this is all of us together. This is us and all the parts of us. Right? There's a lot of people that are in this waiting phase because, oh, the world is going to shit, so we must wait for, you know, all of these things to happen outside of what we're capable of. That's not it. That's not sovereignty. Remember that. Sovereignty is each and every one of us is in charge of the reality that we're manifesting in our own sphere. And all of us taking responsibility for our personal reality affects our global reality. So if we all raise this frequency, this is like number one mission, right? If we all raise the bar to our personal reality, then, you know, we're going next level. That's where we want to go. So we don't stop when things get hard. We don't stop when challenges come. We don't like give up. We don't give in, right? Like there's none of that. It's like, what do you actually really want? What do you actually really want? And then how do you align with it, right? Do the work to align with that, because it's a moment of magic. It's a moment of miracle making. So it's like we're being tested, right? It's such an initiation moment. This energy is powerful. It's kind of like what happened. You guys saw me at the Lion's Gate. I went all the way down to connect the portal and to do the work in the Grand Canyon at Lake Powell. And then it was like wild, all sorts of wild things, all sorts of like forces. Like we had mechanical issues with the boat. There were like all sorts of like weather situation. Like it was, you know, those moments where it's like, it's one thing after another, but it really wasn't like that. It was just like, oh my gosh, like everything about my courage, my determination, and my choice to do this work is being tested. And I'm still showing up, right? And I am still doing it. And it was everything that everybody needed that was on that particular event. And we ended up adding a second day bonus event, because I always, if I don't deliver normal, I over deliver, right? If I don't deliver, it's because I'm going to deliver even more. And that's what we did, right? So there's always like, it was definitely like exactly what was needed to recalibrate reality. And it was like such a test for determination and courage and just the ingredients to everyday life that we get to keep carrying on. It's like a lot of people in the name of, you know, it must not be meant to be, or oh, I surrender, right? Like we often forget that courage, that lion, that determination, that like what we stand for, right? Like this is the stuff that like we are going for. We're showing up for it. We're going to catch this. We're going to do this thing. And so it was a really powerful moment. And I feel like there was like much resonance in all of it. And through the event and through everybody, for like ripple effect, right? For everybody around the planet. And so if you experienced any of that, like in your world, right? Remember that. It's always like we keep going and we keep showing up, but we show up in the best way. We show up at 100%. We show up in all of that, like big love, big all-encompassing higher love, like full mission, like crown on, right? Like we are showing up because we're here to do this job. And if we're tested, we're still going to do this job. It's like commitment levels, right? Okay, so remember that. Align your things. Your things. And I'm going to see you inside of the amazing. We're having a phone call, so we need to like decline that. So remember all of this. Listen to it a couple of times because I shared a lot of important things in there. And I'll see you inside of the special offers that we have this month. It's my birthday month, so it's the birthday sale. And remember that we also have a giveaway that's a whole month long, and the reel with all of the details is pinned at the very top of my Instagram grid. So the deal is, for the first time, if you haven't heard of this, we're giving away 3 scholarships and then 2 Moon Babes, like scholarships. It's amazing. And then 2 card decks, Got a Secrets card decks. And then for 3 of you, so it's a total of 8. And then for 3 of you, I'm going to do a 3-card pull, like a mini reading. I'm so excited for that. And so that's all happening this month. If you, the job, right, like for the giveaway, like to be entered is to comment, like, and save every post this month. And then if you tag any of your friends or like any people, you get like, you know, people that need to hear it. Usually I say friends, and then it's like, maybe it's just people that you know on the internet or whatever, right? Community. But if you tag anybody, you get like extra entries. Like it gets like, you get extra. Okay. So check that out. Details are up at the top. And then every week, there's just so many things going on this month. And then every week there's like a special offer. This week it's 70% off of Unlocking Reality. If you don't have that in your like arsenal of tool of like go-tos, that is such an important one to have. Like literally unlocking reality. Like, and it's like very, very structured, very like workbook, manual, let's do this thing, rampages, all the tools to shift. Like it's such like a baseline for everybody to have. So I wanted to make it like super awesome. There's like an awesome payment plan for the sale too. So don't miss it because it's only this week. It's like super awesome course. I highly recommend it. And then watch for that new offer, new surprise offer. It is going to be the most comprehensive course of all of the knowledge and everything that I have added up in all of these years and how I have truly transformed my life and continue to like keep on like it's like it's blowing my mind, right? Like to being like a multiple business owner, to like the alignment and all of the things, like against all odds, like in reality, like even everything that has happened with like my relationship with Henry that has, as you guys know, it's like we've like started aligning again in our lives. Like it's so wild. And like it's all the way that I live and the way that things have added up, right? And the way that reality works for me, and it always works out for me. I am putting it all together, and it's going to be in this new secret offer. It's so hard for me not to say the words and to tell you about it. So I'm going to tell you more about it tomorrow. I love you. Thank you for joining me on the Moon Babes Monday Night Live. For all the things, the link is here in my bio at Moon Babes and the Light Tribe, or you can go to moonbabetribe.com. I will see you on the next one, in the stories, in the comments, on the daily posts, and in my inbox. Mwah.